Have you ever longed to be someone truly unshakable? Someone who doesn't fall apart under criticism, rejection, loss, or betrayal? Have you ever dreamed of the day you finally stop carrying that quiet pain, that gnawing sadness that consumes you inside, even while you're pretending to be okay on the outside? Maybe you're just tired of trying to be enough for everyone, of upholding an image of strength 24/7, when deep down, all you've ever wanted was a moment of peace, a break from the pressure of always being untouchable. But let me tell you something few people are brave enough to say. The more you try to escape pain, the more it controls you. The more you numb, shield, or hide, the more you remain a hostage to every word that wounds you, every action that disappoints, every silence that slowly kills you inside. And no, that's not weakness. It's the shared reality of countless people. The only difference is, some hide it better than others. Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers in psychology, said we are not what happens to us, we are what we choose to become. And that right there is your turning point. Because real healing doesn't come from shutting down or becoming emotionally numb. It doesn't come from faking strength. It comes from integration. From confronting and illuminating the hidden wounds that still affect you. Because real strength isn't about the absence of pain. It's about becoming fully aware of who you are, even while you're still bleeding. And if you're still here reading this, it's no accident. This video is for you, the one who's tired of being hurt by everything and everyone. The one who feels like you're always emotionally outmatched, like others have a power over your peace that you just can't understand. I want to show you, it doesn't have to be that way. But for that to happen, you're going to have to face some difficult truths. And maybe, just maybe, for the first time ever, this pain you're feeling will set you free. So let's begin. You think the pain comes from out there, from what they did, from the words they chose, the moments they abandoned you, the betrayals you didn't see coming. But here's the brutal truth. None of it would hurt so deeply if it didn't already touch something broken within you. What causes the suffering is not their actions. It's what those actions awaken inside you. It's the old, unresolved pain. It's the childhood wounds you never looked at. It's the emptiness you've masked with perfection, performance, and pride. Jung teaches us that the pain we feel from the outside world is only a mirror reflecting what we haven't yet faced on the inside. That's why one person survives devastation with clarity, while another collapses under a single careless comment. It's not about what happens. It's about what it hits inside you. And here's the part most people never realize. You suffer so deeply because some part of you still believes that if you were good enough, strong enough, kind enough, they wouldn't hurt you. That somehow you could control the way the world treats you. But control is the greatest illusion of all. And as long as you hold on to it, you will live in constant fear, predicting every move, bracing for every letdown, avoiding everything that might cause discomfort. Want to stop suffering? Then stop protecting yourself from suffering. What you need is not more strategy, not more emotional armor. You need more self-awareness. As long as you believe your peace depends on others changing, you will always be held hostage by their behavior. True freedom begins the moment you understand that nothing from outside can truly hurt you unless it finds something inside that lets it in. And that is where your real battlefield lies. Not in the world, but in your unconscious. Because what you do not know, do not confront, and do not heal will continue to run your life. And that is what we're about to explore. Get ready to dive deeper. Because down there, in the dark, is where the real transformation begins. The biggest lie you've been told? That you're in control of your life, when in reality, you're not. At least not while you keep living on autopilot. Not while you keep reacting without knowing why, feeling things without understanding where they come from, making decisions you later regret and sabotage. Carl Jung made this painfully clear when he said, Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The pain that erupts unexpectedly, the anger that flares without warning, the sadness that washes over you out of nowhere. None of this is random. These aren't just moods. They're messages from the forgotten parts of you, the silenced memories, the repressed wounds you never dared to face. Jung called this hidden territory the unconscious. And it's not just a vague place where random thoughts live. It's a living system, alive with old traumas, unmet needs, unspoken fears, and desires you were told to suppress. You wonder why certain words cut you to the core while others laugh them off. It's because those words pierce wounds in you that never truly healed. They poke the bruises you pretend aren't there. And if they're still hurting, it's because you never faced them. You simply buried them under fake smiles, productivity, or perfection. But Jung warned us, what you avoid doesn't disappear. It grows more dangerous. It begins to surface as toxic relationships, repeated mistakes, self-sabotage, anxiety, and fear that show up when things seem to be going well. That's not bad luck. It's your unconscious trying to wake you up. But you keep hitting snooze. You keep hiding. You keep running. You want to be untouchable? Then stop running. Stop protecting yourself from discomfort. The real danger isn't pain. It's unconscious pain. As long as you don't understand your own mind, your emotions will control you like a puppet. And the more you resist what's inside, the more vulnerable you become to what's outside. But there is a path out, and it's not through resistance. It's through radical integration. Because becoming untouchable is not about becoming invincible. It's about becoming deeply, consciously whole. Most people believe that to stop getting hurt, they need to shut down. So they build emotional walls, wear masks, and forge a tough exterior. They tell themselves, I don't care anymore. Nothing affects me. I'm over it. But inside, they're still bleeding, still crumbling. Because the problem isn't that you feel too much. It's that you don't know what you're feeling or why. That's not strength. It's disconnection. And that kind of disconnection is a slow emotional death. Carl Jung once said, know all the theories, master all the techniques, but as you touch a human soul, be just another human soul. And that includes your own soul, the one you keep hiding behind the character you've created. The strong, composed, always in control version of yourself that the world applauds while your true self screams to be seen. Becoming emotionally strong doesn't mean being cold. It doesn't mean ignoring pain, avoiding conflict, or pretending you're untouchable. Real emotional strength is born from integration, from looking straight at the parts of yourself you buried long ago. The shame, the guilt, the fear, the neediness, the hunger to be accepted. The parts you tried to kill off to become better. But here's the truth. You do not become untouchable by shutting down. You become untouchable when no one can weaponize the parts of you that you've already accepted. When you've embraced your shadows, your triggers lose their power. When you've owned your flaws, criticism can't define you. You stop reacting and you start observing. You stop trying to control and you start choosing. That is real power. That is freedom. And Jung had a name for it: individuation. The process of becoming who you truly are, not who the world expects, not who you pretended to be, but who you are underneath it all. He said, individuation is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. You don't need to upgrade yourself. You need to reclaim yourself. And the more you run from your pain, the more it owns you. But the moment you face it, you become unbreakable. Not because you're untouched, but because you've touched everything within and finally made peace with it. From a young age, you were taught to fear pain. You were told that suffering is weakness, that crying is useless, that feeling deeply makes you vulnerable. So you ran, you distracted, you denied. But the truth is, the more you run from pain, the more it chases you. And the worst part? It disguises itself. It shows up as anxiety you can't explain, rage that comes out of nowhere, emptiness that won't leave no matter how successful you become. Carl Jung saw suffering not as something to be avoided, but something to be understood. He called it the soul's alarm, the language of the unconscious. Pain is not your enemy. It's a message. It's the invitation to transformation. He once said, "Depression is like a lady in black. If she visits you, don't send her away. Invite her in. Offer her tea. Listen to what she has to say." But most of us don't listen. We silence ourselves. We scroll. We stay busy. We do anything but feel. Anything but face what's really inside. And yet suffering only hurts this deeply because a war still rages within you. Between the part of you that wants to grow and the part that clings to comfort, to old beliefs, to the version of you that's slowly breaking. Growth hurts. Letting go hurts. Allowing parts of you to die so something new can be born, that hurts. But in that pain is where something sacred begins. When your illusions collapse, when your masks fall away, when you're left raw and real, that's when you finally meet the truth of who you are. And that's not the end. That's the beginning. Jung knew that suffering wasn't failure. It was part of the process. The pain is not a wall, it's a door. And on the other side is individuation, the kind of transformation that makes you whole. But here's what most people never do. They turn back. They get close to that door and then run. But not you. You've made it this far. You're ready to cross. And what waits on the other side is a clarity so deep, the world no longer has a place to hurt you. Because when you truly awaken, when you finally integrate, nothing outside you holds power over you anymore. Not rejection, not silence, not fear, only presence, only peace, only the kind of strength that cannot be shaken because it no longer needs to pretend. That is what it means to become untouchable. Not through resistance, but through radical truth.